You are now listening to Awaken You with Shelley Bond. Welcome to my show where we explore ourselves. We talk about growth, healing, breath, life, yoga, failures and successes, intuition, inspiration, fears, manifestation, books, writing, motivation, food, parenting, inner child work, mindfulness. What are your thoughts? My love for healing with energy work, learning how to love myself, forgive myself, and know my own self-worth. I have a deep well inside to hold space and connect with women. And I have learned that awakening is for us all, especially for those of us who think that it's not. Waking up to our life's flaws and all is possible because, my friends, life is a practice. It's not a perfect. Welcome to a brand new episode of Awaken You with Shelley Bond, and I am Shelley Bond. So I was thinking about what I wanted to chat and share today. And since my birthday is coming up in 2 days, I wanted to talk about personal gifts that we can give ourselves. Like, we are reliant on our birthdays for other people to make it feel special and magical. And like most of us, we have, right, these unrealistic expectations. And maybe we even think that our loved ones need to be mind readers and that they need to do the things that we want them to do for our birthdays. And then when they don't, we kind of feel mad and pissed and upset. So I wanted to talk about that. And I wanted to make a break for our sponsor, which is me, Awaken You from Pain to Healing, a woman's way of waking up to her life. And I just wanted to read the little excerpt on the back of the book. 8 years ago, Shelley Bond was stuck, anxious, and suffering from postpartum depression. Something had to change. She embarked on her journey towards healing and waking up to herself. Inside the trenches of life, she realized awakening is possible for all women. Here is her story: the mess, reflection, joy, and growth. Inside is her guide to help women awaken to breath, love, and light. Life, actually. This book is available on Amazon. You just put in Awaken You, Shelley Bond. Please head over to iTunes and leave Awaken You with Shelley Bond a 5-star review and a rating, please. It means the universe to me, and it allows me to share this on a broader platform. Here we go to our birthday expectations, and will they ever live up? I have learned no, they never will. Will. Sometimes the words. It's interesting, right? Another year has come and gone, and last year I decided to start giving myself these internal gifts. I learned from Kristen Neff, PhD, author, an amazing mama, and she wrote self-compassion and fierce self-compassion. I think it's just fierce compassion. No, fierce self-compassion. And in her books, I just connected with her so much. And in her first book, she shares about her son with autism, and his name is Rowan. And I just connected with her. Having a special needs kiddo is something that a lot of people try to have compassion for, but you don't fully understand until you're dealing with it. So I resonated with her. And after I read her first book, I just knew that I had to give myself this gift because I am a freaking tyrant on myself, and I don't even realize it until I do, right? This is like yoga, and the practice is bringing our awareness when we can be aware, because we're not always aware that these like subconscious programmings come up and just like take us over. And after that book, I think I know I'm remembering correctly that I would give myself compassion here and there when I remembered. And then it almost felt like one of those crappy New Year's resolutions that we give up on because we just do. Because thinking of anything, especially like something as powerful as compassion for ourselves, like it's so easy to give it to everyone else. And being a mom, we're trained. You give it to your kids, your husband, your all the spouse, the parents, the nephews, the nieces, everyone around you. And then when it comes time for us, there's nothing left. And I'm remembering little moments where I actually did that. And I gave myself this continued gift of being kind and gentle on myself and not being this tyrant. And right, that part of us, that's our ego. That's the part that actually some speak on, like Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if Eckhart Tolle as much, but Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay, the ego, is edging God out, or edging, say, universe out, or source, whatever resonates with you. We're edging our spiritual aspects of ourself out. And we're so engulfed with our I ams. Like, I am Shelley. I am this mom. I am an author. I am a failure at my business, or whatever it is. Like, that inner voice is so attached and it loves to tell us everything that's going wrong. And right, there's this actual neurological part of our brain. When I used to teach the Life Loves You project, it was this curriculum my sister and soul sister came up with, where we went into elementary schools and we were teaching so many amazing things to kids. And one of the courses that we led, or my sister led, was all on the brain, and like the caveman brain, and that fight, flight, or freeze response. And right back in those caveman days, we really needed that part of our brain, because a giant pterodactyl's coming down. And like, you really need to fight, flight, or freeze. But now that part of our brain is coming in these small experiences where maybe we got into a fight, and that fight, flight, or freeze response is kicking in. But that part of our brain is not serving us right now in our everyday lives. Like, yes, there are experiences where that part of our brain is very helpful, like situations where actual danger is coming to us, then yes. But these everyday, like the inner voice chiming in and talking all this crap to us and bringing our worth down and down and down. And then it comes to this deeper energetic space. And I have been taking my extended yoga teacher training education. Say it's like your masters of yoga. And it resonates down into our lower rib cage, above our belly button, into our solar plexus, or the Manipura chakra, which is our space of confidence, the feelings of worth, our knowledge in our space. So it's like that part of our brain transmutes into this energetic space. And then nowadays, we're just like trapping so much pain in these energetic centers. And this was something so cool that I've heard a long time ago, but it really resonated again, that our chakras are these energetic spinning discs, and they're just like spinning. You can think of whatever direction resonates with you. I kind of imagine them like these horizontal. You can imagine them as vertical, or just like a ball of spinning. And what's happening with these blockages and like those that inner voice that gets to us deep is it's creating all of these blockages. And I almost can like feel it stuck out in my body. I can feel it when I do Reiki sessions on people. And I can almost just like rub my hands together and just start like ice cream scooping and like opening a window and sending these yucky, mucky energies that we're holding onto away. Like, think of that really. Energy work is something actually that you can't think of because that analytical part of ourselves and our being, everything, it tells us that it's not real and it's not capable or it's not possible. And I will share that it's an experience and it's a feeling and it's a letting go. And I have personally experienced and watched many clients and friends and family and even my nephews and nieces and my daughter. I have seen this like energetic shifting and letting go. But it only happens when we're open to letting go. And that's something that can be really freaking hard. And so I'm coming back to, I've been thinking about this for a while, about what is my new birthday gift that I can give to myself that I can actually follow through with. I'm almost thinking maybe I need to roll that compassion back. I think that gratitude, the gift of gratitude. And it's something I still do. I do a gratitude practice every day, but that is a realistic present I can give myself. So, Shelley, in this moment, I am thinking, I give you the gift of gratitude that no matter where I am in my life and no matter what's going on with my kids or with my husband or sisters or family or in my business, in my writing as an author, in my Awaken You Healing Center on YouTube, like this podcast, and all of my online endeavors, that I will give gratitude. And this is also something that's amazing is that the universe loves gratitude. I love gratitude. The universe loves gratitude. And right, the more gratitude we give and we put out into the universe, it vibrates out from our bodies. And what we put out magnets back to us. You have to think of it. Like, think of those days where you're running late and just having a shit day and you like stub your toe. You don't have time to take a shower. Your house is a mess. You trip. Maybe you hit your head on the freaking cabinet. Ow. And then you look at the clock and you are late. And while you're late, you're either stuck behind someone going super slow or someone road raging, or you hit every red light, or even better, the trains. I used to live in Fort Collins and I would always hit trains. I mean, trains that you are waiting for like 20 to 30 minutes and there is nowhere else to go. You are there. You're waiting at the train. And then this day just spirals and spirals and spirals. So think of that energy. It's that energy that we're putting out is coming back to us. And the same goes for gratitude. The same goes for anything. I think of this constantly with my kids and all of my struggles and how lately sometimes I don't know if I'm putting this like subconscious block or wall or whatever I'm putting up, but I feel like my kids are constantly ignoring me and pressing every button and boundary, right? They're trying to see what they can get away with. Why do they do this? I remember back and then I think of, oh yeah, I totally did that. But as the role of the parent, it's so freaking frustrating. And so I need to change my thinking around my kids. Instead of affirming to myself and confirming and suggesting that my kids are terrible listeners, nobody ever listens, and our house is always a mess, that it's like, Switch that up, Shelley. My children are amazing listeners and they do all of their chores on their list and they just help. They just put their dishes in the dishwasher and they rinse them clean and right? It is one of those things. It's so true though. Like even with the littlest things like the mundane moments in life that we take for granted, we just have to pause and look at ourselves. And even just looking at this year, I rewind back to myself at 38, the beginning of 38, and seeing all of the growth and everything that I have experienced and everything that I have grown into in 1 year, it makes me almost want to bawl my eyes out. I'm so proud of myself and the woman who I am. And it's so interesting. Often I look for that confirmation from other people, right? We all do that. And in this moment, it's like I can reflect that. And Shelly, like you are all of the things that you've always wanted to be. I am the woman that I am striving to be. I am already her. Like minus a few things, like minus some of the prosperity and the actual structural building of my healing center. I am already all of these things. And that on its own like is it's really powerful for me to reflect and to just notice. And also that I have stuck it out and done homeschool with my kids for 2 years. I would have never imagined that I could survive doing homeschool. And now I can't imagine not homeschooling my kid. And then moments I think of it would be so nice to have that time to focus on things that I want to focus on. And then I almost rewind myself back to when my kids were infants and toddlers. And that was just my job to always take care of them and nurture them and grow them. And so I take that mindset and I zoof and I shift it. And it's different, but it's the same. My job is still to nurture and grow them and help raise them up into the best person that they can be. Give them the tools that I never learned until my 30s. Like my kids are learning these essential tools of life that I wasn't even aware of until I was like 34 years old, like 5 years ago. So I know that it's a rough and bumpy path sometimes doing homeschool and then finding time for making malas and creating podcasts and yoga classes. And now I'm taking my teacher training, my extended teacher training. And because I'm me, my daughter has been struggling with this freaking foot injury off and on for now almost 2 months. It's so frustrating. And she is wearing an air cast boot, which I'm so grateful that we can use something like this boot to help support her body. But I know, like on a deeper level, that this physical manifestation is happening because this is her root chakra. And I've talked about this in a few other episodes that it's our space of trust and safety. And no matter how painful it is to me that my daughter is not feeling trusting or safe, that I have to take this and help her like towards that journey. So I am taking foot reflexology. I am going to be a certified foot reflexologist, which is something that I have been fascinated with ever since I read Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And in her book, she shares healing vaginal cancer that was deemed incurable cancer. What is it like? For the worst level, incurable cancer. And she shifted from right, our trying to think the Eastern medication, pharmaceuticals, drugs, surgery. She shifted to more spiritual modalities. She did foot reflexology, forgiveness, the practice of forgiveness. And maybe I'm saying this too, that because gratitude has already become some part of who I am, and maybe I need to shift that gift to myself to forgiveness. I always feel like things like this come up as signs, and only if we are open and willing to hear the signs and take action with them, they can help us heal. And Louise helped heal her freaking stage 4 vaginal cancer with healing modalities. And so here I am showing up for my daughter, and I'm going to take these courses. And I already started. And I put a lot on my plate, but I know the universe has guided me along this journey and given me these feelings of excitement. Like I bought and paid for the online class and started printing out the workbook, and already just like sucking me in all of these different trigger and pressure points and all of these different links. The soles of our feet have a link to every part and organ in our body. We can heal so many different things with reflexology in our feet. And I'm thinking of how amazing it would be to have some sort of collaborative practice that I could offer, right? I already do Reiki and yoga, and inside of these sessions, or even perhaps online, where I can guide people into these foot reflexology trigger points, these points on our feet, and help heal these inner manifestations of our body, right? Because we can do all of this spiritual work that we want. Even like my daughter, I feel like if her foot injury just keeps going and keeps going, the podiatrist is going to say she needs to get surgery to fix that. And I do not want to get surgery to fix that. I want to do these steps first. Like if it was absolutely 100 million percent, like she needed to do this to help her body grow. I have a girlfriend that her daughter was born with cerebral palsy, and she needed to get these pins and screws in her knee because part of her body is growing and the other part isn't. So that surgery, yes, that surgery was necessary to help her body be how it needs to be. Junie, I just have this feeling about, because she's such this spiritual little sprite, and I know that it's this deeper healing. And so here I am on this freaking ride. And right here I am turning 39, taking 2 trainings, and I think back to being like a young 20 something year old. And of course, I would have thought, oh my gosh, almost 30, an old lady. And now, like embodying who I am just embodying who I am. I am just figuring out who I am and what I want to be. It was so interesting. I have a neighbor down the street, and last year, it was like a COVID time, but it was prom, and her hairstylist canceled. And I did hair 4 years ago. I don't practice at all. I have wet hair right now. I'm not into the beauty industry. But long story short, she's a sweet neighbor girl, and this was her senior year. So I did her hair again for prom this year. And it just is so interesting how she is so confident and she knows where she wants to go. She has like her college path all carved out. She wants to go into criminal justice. She's moving to Arizona. She has like this amazing confidence to herself that I never had when I was 18 years old. And I was so grateful to be there and help her with her hair and to just be a part of her path, because she's soon moving and going away. And I look at her and I look at where I was, and it's taken me this long, 30 more, is that 20? No, 20 more years to be where I am and know what I want in my life. When I was younger, I always knew I wanted to be a mom. And, right, that's what I did. And I didn't become a mom right away, but I did get married super young. I got married when I was 20. And if my daughter wanted to get married when she was 20, I would be like, oh, please wait. People always say, well, it worked out for you. Well, it did work out, but we have had many struggles and trials and tribulations. I am so grateful for my husband. I have moments of like severe frustrations, and he has now been a business owner for 5 years and he is crushing it. He is doing amazing and helping support his family and follow his dreams. And he every day shows me of what it means to have a dream and bring it to life. And I'm so freaking grateful for him. And we're so different. And the more time that passes, the older he gets. So he just turned 40. And the other day I was joking around with him about his young wife because I'm 38 and he's 40. Not for long. But it is just, it's just interesting, like how we grow and evolve in relationships. And being so young and getting married so young, we were not grown-ups. Like we have grown up together and we have been together for half of our lives for about almost 20 years, which is crazy. I can't even believe him. Believe him or believe it. I can't believe it. It's crazy. And I know there is so many moments where I get so freaking frustrated with him and I can't even like deal with his shenanigans. And he's like grumpier and grumpier every year. And being a business owner has made him more like, like hard. And he has to be. Like he has a lot of shit that he goes through. But it's like finding that balance in your life. And right, we don't have to have that hardness with our home life and our spouse. And I freaking know Rex and I have been together like many lives before. And I don't think that they have gone as well as this life. I know that I'm working hard on healing a lot of our shit. And I can just feel like, have you been around someone or your spouse or even your kids where there is just this underlying energy and you don't know what it is or why it's there, but there's a reason, a deeper reason. Like even when we get into these huge eruptions and we argue and we don't see eye to eye, because unfortunately my husband and I are two, but I should say like three of the most stubborn people I know. Me, him, my son, Milo. Thank you, universe. And that, it's so funny to think of. And I'm just in moments where there is like all of this tension. I have been teaching myself to soften and back up. And I am more of this like turtle. Many years ago, one of my beautiful soul sister twin flames, who is a psychotherapist, told me that in relationships, there's two types of people. There's the tornado and the turtle, right? So take that visualization however you want. The tornado wants like to hash everything out on this like destructive growing path, which sometimes I slightly have tornado tendencies, but for the majority, I am the turtle. I want to retreat, especially if my feelings are feeling hurt and I'm feeling vulnerable. I don't want you to talk to me. I don't want you to look at me. I need some space from you. And even I need like days. Like I need to sleep in a different room from my husband sometimes if I am like working up this like emotional shit that I'm coping with. And those are the times where I have been focusing a lot on healing what it is that we are going on, like what's going on. In a lot of those situations, it's like 4 days later. And sometimes, yeah, you can remember where the fight originated. But have you ever been in like this big disruption with your spouse and you can't even remember what it was about? That to me is this energetic healing. There's this energetic, like, bashing of energies, just like that we have to be mindful of breaking the way that we're responding, because if we keep responding to these situations, right, they come in many different forms and experiences. But if you've noticed that metaphysically, energetically, we will keep receiving these same experiences and feelings and energies with the same person over and over and over until we can be open to choosing new ways of responding, right? New energies, even that we're sending out. And instead of getting so pissed at my husband and saying, like, I don't use the word hate. I almost feel like the word hate is worse than the word fuck. I don't know why. I feel like fuck is more of like a free expression. And then I think of the word hate, and maybe it's because I know about the vibration of the word, and I don't even like to say it so many times. And I've even done this rice experiment that's put in my book. I don't know what chapter, but it's a great experiment you can do. You cook rice. You have 3 airtight containers. Put equal amounts of rice in each container. Label 1 love, 1 hate, 1 ignore. Place the lids on airtight, shrink, opposite ends of a room or even different rooms. I found though that it can get tricky in different rooms, so keep them on opposite ends of the room or opposite sides, like one in the kitchen if you have an open living concept, one in the dining room. And then the ignore one, put in a dark closet that no one goes into. And then you say loving, kind, sweet, beautiful words to the love rice. And then you say the mean, horrible things that you say to yourself, and you say that you hate the rice. And over the next 2 weeks, do this like 2 to 4 to 6 weeks, you will notice that the hate rice starts rotting and discoloring. And I noticed the love rice, it stayed mostly, I've done this like twice. It stays mostly white and beautiful. I did notice a little discoloration, and right, that's probably all of the other energies and vibrations happening in the space. And maybe it could be there was a little oxidation, some air coming in. And then the ignore one is somewhere in the middle. So saying the word hate is such a powerful word that I like to leave out. I like to leave it out of my vocabulary. And then when it comes up, it's like, okay. I don't even know where I was going with that whole chat. Do you do that ever? It's like lose that train of thought. Come back, Shelley. Come back. Yeah, and that I think I was going around of embracing my husband and all of his shit, and I'm learning how to unconditionally love him, which is crazy. Being with the same person for almost 20 years, you think I would already be a pro at that. I've learned how to unconditionally love my children right away. Just shrink. I unconditionally love my sisters. Yes, they're sisters, and we sometimes judge each other. We hold each other accountable. I have 2 sisters I'm super close with, and the thing I love about our relationship that's different from most sisters is that we share our shit. We do not sugarcoat. We're not always like, life is perfect. We share all of it. We're not putting on this facade. We are real and open, and we talk to each other. And if we ever have like a little spattle, we work it out. And it's unconditional love. It is a love that I'm learning that this unconditional love comes from our heart chakra, our anahata chakra in our heart space. This spiritual, energetic space that houses the breath, the lungs, that movement of inhalation and exhalation. And this unconditional love is a love that's not wavering, because that love hate comes from our root chakra, the Muladhara chakra, right? That trust and safety. It's that, like, I can love you one day and I can hate you one day. It's that love hate that we learned in grade school, really young. This unconditional love that I'm talking about, that I'm learning to give my husband, I have been mirroring it back to myself. So I wanted to just for a moment, just allow you to do a little self-reflection, because reflection is a way to grow. And if we're not looking and reflecting at ourselves, we are going to struggle with healing. We are going to struggle with growth. And I know it can be hard. The heart is one of the most wounded energy spaces of our whole system. And I'm actually so excited to learn. I haven't learned yet in reflexology where the heart, and the lungs, in the foot. I can't wait. I'm going to try that out on myself. I'm like squeezing my fingers. I'm really fascinated with foot reflexology. But this space of unconditional love is something. So it's like I keep bringing up all of these things, and I'm thinking of things that I need in my life, that I want to go into, like, my next year, into my 40s, knowing that, right, I'm setting myself up for success. I'm setting myself up to be human. I'm setting myself up to be authentic. I'm not setting myself up to be like this image of who I think I need to be or others think I need to be. Even when it comes to roles like a yogi or an energy healer or a reflexologist or an author. Like, we label these images on ourselves. Even being a mom, sometimes it's like we label and then put ourselves in these little boxes. And when we don't fit into these molds, we feel like a failure. And what if we could reflect on ourselves and we could realize that we're not giving ourselves unconditional love, that we are giving ourselves that conditional love, that love that's like, well, when you're doing great, like when you publish your book, Shelley, you have it together, you are a success. But when your other book is sitting on the shelf collecting dust that you can't even get the strength up to edit, that you are a failure. And that is that wavering. That's that conditional love. But this unconditional love, what if, whether it's your birthday or not, that what if we can give ourselves the gift of unconditional love? What if in moments when we're just like struggling, it's a bad, hard day, it's a bad, hard fucking week, it's a bad, hard month or year, because sometimes that happens where it's just, we feel like we are in the dumps. Like, and it is hard to pull up out of those things. And I love motivation. I love self-care. I am all about personal health and personal growth, but I know what it feels like to have to like scrape and salvage my way out of the freaking dark, mucky waters. It's like that metaphor of a lotus. And I'm learning more on these myths about the yoga asanas in my teacher training that I'm loving. And it's like this lotus. It lives in dark, nasty, murky waters. And there's all of these other roots and yucky stuff around. And a lotus is this beautiful, in tight, like it's in tucked in like a ball to itself. And when the sun comes out, it has to make this daily journey. And it's like sweaving and weaving up and around the other roots and all the yucky, nasty stuff in the water, all the way, like gross, corroded ponds that you would not even think it would be possible to grow this enlightened, gorgeous flower. But this is where they live, all the way until it journeys. I love sound effects coming up until it reaches the sun and the top of the water, and slowly the petals just open, and they open and they are free, and they feel the sun, and they emerge in true beauty. And throughout the day, they're just open and accepting of whatever the day is bringing. They're just being with what is. But once that sun starts setting down, and the darkness comes across the land, that lotus slowly curls its petals back into its little package, safely bringing itself back down into the water, all the way down deep, where it tucks and nestles itself in, so safe, so vulnerable, into the darkness, and it rests until the next day. And I feel like this beautiful representation of a lotus, it really is us. That's like us at our pure form. And I love looking to these metaphors to help us better understand ourselves and our journey, our inner journey. It's like yoga. Yoga is this practice that a lot of us have turned into just like a health workout thing, which is awesome. And yes, yoga asana movement is so good for our health. It's good for our bones, our blood, our muscles, our tendons, our joints, if we're practicing safely and correctly. But if we are just like pounding into poses, we can injure ourselves. If we're leading straight with our ego, like, I'm going to do that one-handed headstand, break your arm, whatever it is. That yoga is this inner journey. It's this heart reflection. And so if we can look to ourselves and reflect to ourselves and notice that maybe we have been a tyrant on ourselves, maybe we have not been loving ourselves. And it takes time and it takes practice, but it starts with the intention, because intention is like 90%. So with me, let us make our self-care practice of this episode to intend. So maybe bring your hands to your heart for a moment, close your eyes. Bring an expansive inhale through the nose into the heart space, filling up the lungs and diaphragm. Through the nose or a melted jaw, exhale a sigh of relief. Let's do 2 more of those together, bringing that love in. Exhaling love out. Last one. Breathing that lengthened breath into the heart space and softening. And here, my lovely sisters and beautiful friends, I intend, or you intend for yourself, I intend to give myself unconditional love. I intend to love myself no matter what. I intend to love myself like I love my dearest soul sisters, like I love my children, or like I love those the nearest and dearest to me, those that I love with unconditional love. And almost like you're shooting that intention into your heart, allowing it to fill up the space around you, perhaps bringing palms, kissing palms to Namaste Mudra. Offer a head bow and a Namaste. And really, my lovely sisters, I encourage you that a gift that you could give from this whole episode, what's just coming to me is we all need this unconditional love. And it's right here, and it's in our heart center. And no matter if our heart is wounded and there's cracks or craters or holes, or it feels broken, that we can mend our hearts. And I know some people say they don't want to mend the wounds. They don't want to forget the people they have lost, or they don't want to forgive and forget the misfortunes of their past. And this is not excusing any behavior someone has done that has hurt you, or any pain that you are feeling in your heart center. This is not that. This is It's like you're just tending to your soil and you're just giving fresh new energy and love. Like, think of if you have a wound, you're going to take care of it. You're going to nurture it. You're going to change your bandage. You're going to clean it. You're going to be cautious with it. So if you have wounds, we all have wounds in our heart. Be compassionate. Be unconditional love. Be it. And a great mantra, affirmation, or an auto suggestion, which is just a conscious suggestion from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. Like, I am unconditional love. And when we put I am with any word in any language all across the globe, they're the two most powerful healing words that actually soak into who we are. So be mindful. Be aware of your I ams and what you're putting into your body. It's like that rice experiment I was telling you about. Like, thinking of the love rice that's just like this pure, beautiful, white, clean, untainted rice versus the hate one that you're saying mean things, treating poorly, and it gets rotted and putrid. And right, why that matters is because we're composed of 60 to 80% on a hydrated day of water. We are made of water. We become what we think about. So we need to start being aware of what we're feeding and fueling our mind with, right? We do worry about food and working out and doing things, but it's time to choose healthy thoughts. It's time to choose loving, kind, compassionate thoughts. And I feel like when we're struggling and being hard on ourselves, the best thing that we can do is flip the script to the opposite. And knowing when it comes to shifting our thoughts and affirmations and auto suggestion, that we always want to keep them in the positive present tense. So we would say, I'm so happy and grateful that I am calm and peaceful, versus I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm not so anxious today. So see how you can just like modify that. Exhale. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. And I'm so grateful to be here on this journey and sharing this podcast for those listeners who've been here showing up with me. Thank you. I love you. And I wanted to offer a gift. So it's my birthday. And I think it's in the German tradition. I learned this from friends who lived in Berlin for a while, that on a birthday, you would take your friends out to dinner or give your friends a gift as a thank you. And so I've made this beautiful mala that is lepelite, amethyst, and I will put, it's like this green cypernizing. It's this new crystal I'm working with, and it has an amethyst pendant, and it also has a smoky quartz double pendant. And I'm going to offer it as a gift for one of my lovely listeners, and I'm going to post it on my Facebook and Instagram. And I'm just asking, what is a way that you can unconditionally love yourself? So I'm just asking for a comment, and then I will choose, and then I will give this mala that is of $122 value I'm going to give it as a gift, and I will also ship it. And if you don't have a copy of my book, Awaken You From Pain to Healing, A Woman's Way of Waking Up to Her Life, I will also include a free copy of my book as well. So as a thank you for my listeners, I'm just so grateful for you, and I know your time is valuable, and I love you. I'm wrapping my arms around you, and please subscribe here, and also, check out, if you haven't, Awaken You Healing Center with Shelley on YouTube. I'm really digging that that platform. I go in and out of these waves where I feel like really inspired and not. And right now, I'm feeling really inspired to share. So I am. So I love you. I'm grateful for you. You can catch a copy of Awaken You, Shelley Bond, on Amazon. And also just keep your eyes peeled for my giveaway, the Mala giveaway. I'm going to probably post it tomorrow, and then I will come up with my winner on after the weekend. So I'm grateful for you. I love you, and know that you are worthy of love. You are worthy of healing, that you are worthy of anything that you have thought that you weren't. And I just encourage you with an open heart and an open mind to change the way that you're thinking about yourself, to change the way that you are loving yourself. And whatever resonates for you, I really encourage you to take home this self-care practice and acknowledge how you have not been giving yourself unconditional love. And perhaps you can awaken the part of you that is longing to be loved by none other than you by unconditionally loving yourself. I love you. I am so grateful for you. And I will be back here next week hanging out with you. I love you, my soul sisters.